Hi everyone, my name is Aaron and I will be representing our group, which is Group 4, to give you guys a short introduction on what the presentation is all about. So the topic that we chose is giant clam, and our group consists of a few members, 8 in total, and before we begin, we would like you guys to sit tight and enjoy the presentation because the presentation is very interesting, and let's begin with the presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, for starters, let's begin with my part, which is species profile and taxonomy. As you can see, the taxonomy for all the 7 recognized species have been listed, and for my part, I will try to make it brief and informative. So without further ado, let's begin. With 7 recognized species across 2 genera, Tridacna and Hippopus, these clams are native to the Indo-Pacific and typically live in shallow sunlit reef environments. They depend on symbiotic algae in their tissues for photosynthetic energy, which is why clear waters are essential to their survival. From a conservation perspective, most species are listed as vulnerable by the IUCN, while Hippopus porcelainus is classified as data deficient due to limited population data. All species are listed under CITES Appendix 2, meaning international trade is regulated. Ecologically, giant clams are important reef builders, biofilters, and nutrient recyclers. They also provide shelter for various marine organisms and help maintain coral reef health and biodiversity. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Hello everyone. In this slide, we highlight the main geographic case sources of the 7 giant clam species. Most harvesting and farming occur in the Coral Triangle, which include the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Papua New Guinea. These areas are known for both wild harvesting and aquaculture effort. The Pacific Islands such as Palau, Fiji, Vanuatu, and the Solomon Islands are also major sources, especially for species like Tridacna gigas and Hippopus hippopus, often raised in hatcheries. In Micronesia and the Maldives, smaller species like T. maxima and T. crocea are harvested mainly for the aquarium trade. Meanwhile, the Australia Great Barrier Reef is known for farming T. derasa, a species used for restocking and research. This region represents both the challenges and opportunities in managing giant clam resources sustainably.
Selamat sejahtera Dr. Aceh. My name is Muhammad Haziq. Now let's look into the harvesting methods of giant clams. The first harvesting method of giant clams is by hand collecting them during low tide. In many coastal communities, especially across Southeast Asia, people collect clams during low tide when parts of the reef become exposed. This method is simple and requires no tools, as the clams are removed by hand from reef crevices. Clams like Tridacna crocea and Tridacna maxima are particularly vulnerable to this method. This method is common in traditional fisheries and also small-scale harvest. The next harvesting method is by free diving collection. This method is used to harvest clams from shallow in subtidal zones. Free divers, often equipped with fins and masks, often gather clams from depth of around 1 to 10 meters. Using tools like metal levers or knives, they dislodge the clams by prying them from the substrate. In many regions, this is the most common method used by artisanal fishers. Besides that, an often illegal harvesting method of giant clams is by scuba-assisted harvesting. In some commercial or illegal operations, fishers use scuba tanks to dive deeper and harvest larger clams, particularly Tridacna gigas. However, many countries have banned this practice because it leads to over-harvesting and depletion of broodstock. The last harvesting method of giant clams is by poaching and illegal trades. Despite regulations, giant clams continue to be illegally harvested for their meat and aquarium trade. Clam shells are particularly valued in black markets, sometimes fetching high prices in countries like Japan and China. Illegal harvests often occur in marine protected areas at night.
So, hello everyone and Dr. Aceh. My name is Jetro, and today I wanna share about something really cool. That is ecological impact of harvesting giant clams, and why harvesting them too much is a big problem for the ocean. First up, biodiversity. These clams aren't just sitting there and doing nothing. They actually give shelter to small fish and sea creatures. If we take them away, then boom, a lot of reef fish will disappear. Secondly, they are like the ocean water filters. Giant clams will clean up the water and recycle nutrients. But if we remove too many, the water will get murky and algae will take over and the coral will start to suffer. And the third is they have a huge shells that help hold the reef together. So they support the reef structure. Without them, reef will get weaker and break apart more easily during storms or during big waves. Next, they are part of food web. So some fish and creatures depends on them for food and as a place to hide or as their habitat. So if clams vanish, other species will start to vanish too. And lastly, this is cool. They reduce the photosynthesis support. So clams actually have tiny algae living inside them, kinda like coral. So these algae help produce oxygen and support life on the reef. So yeah, clams is a big deal. So the bottom line, if we keep harvesting giant clams, it's not just the clams that we are losing. We are putting the whole coral reef system at risk. And that's something that we can really afford to mess up. That's all for me.
Next, we look at black market and illegal trade. Although all 7 giant clam species are protected under CITES Appendix 2, illegal harvesting still happen. This is mainly due to weak enforcement. Giant clams have high value, so people continue to collect and sell them secretly, especially in ASEAN black market. Moving on to aquaculture demand, giant clams are farmed to meet the demand for food, decorative shells, and aquarium beds. Farming supports conservation, but it is slow and expensive. Despite this, some buyers still prefer wild-caught clams because they're usually bigger and are believed to taste better. Lastly, we have cultural and traditional uses. In Pacific Island cultures, giant clams play an important role in traditional ceremonies and are even used as dowries or ritual. This strong cultural connection lead to continued local harvesting even though international trade is controlled.
Giant clam, also known as luxury seafood in some countries. The meat is a delicacy in China, Taiwan, and Japan. Known as high status food in traditional cuisine, higher in prices encourages of over-exploitation, especially bigger species such as T. gigas. Giant clam, also known as ornamental shell trade. They are sold as souvenir and home decoration because of its large and colorful shell. Popular in markets such as Indonesia and Philippines. Demand in both legal and illegal market. Last but not least, they are wanted for their aquarium trade value. Popular as marine ornamental trade, wanted for their colorful mantle and filter feeding abilities. High demand from hobbyists in the US, Japan, and Europe. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good evening to Dr. Archer. My name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Pushangklana. So I will introduce about historical and current cash value. So in historical trade, we have a high demand of trade in 2001 in that is 10,100,000 tons. Then it decreased until 2019, but it's high again, more than 120,000 tons in 2023. We assume this increase is because of lack of awareness and because of policy not strong enough to hold the trade. And then we going to the second graph. It showed that Tridacna derasa and Tridacna maxima has the highest catch volume. This is because Tridacna have a shell that beautiful for not only for food but also for aquarium ornamental purpose. And then lastly is about natural vs aquaculture. So we see in here aquaculture have a constant demand, export and import. So it's good for maintain the capacity. And then we see in wild catch the import and export is decreased. So this is a good sign that we almost avoid destroy the natural ecosystem. So that's all from me. Thank you, doctor.
Hi, my name is Ahmad Amin bin Azmi and my matter number is PS23110310, and I'll be presenting the treats and sustainable solution for giant clams, which are an important seafood and reef species but are now is in under serious pressure. As shown on the left side of the slide, giant clam face multiple threats, and the biggest one is the overharvesting, mainly for food, aquarium trade and shells. There are also illegal and unregulated trade made worse by poor traceability. Habitat degradation like coral reef destruction and pollution limit where they can grow. But biologically, they face slow growth and reproductive challenge, which make recovery difficult. They are also struggling with market competition from cheaper to the wild caught alternative. And finally, restocking program often fail due to poaching poor survival and environmental stress. Now for the solution, we divide them into two categories. And first one, to reduce exploitation. Firstly, enforcing minimum harvest size to protect the juveniles, seasonal bans during spawning times, enforcing sites, tracking and certification. This will help test whether clams are wild or cultured. And banning destructive collection method like reef chiseling. And to recover population, we need to expanding marine protected areas to protect the natural habitats. Centenary hatcheries program to support restocking, encouraging community aquaculture to reduce pressure on wild stock, and lastly, promoting scientific collaboration to improve survival and breeding success. That's all from me. Thank you.
That's all from us. Thank you.